The death of Uncle Ben. After Peter got his powers, he used them selfishly, brushing off responsibility. That decision cost him the man who raised him. When that burglar, the one Peter could have stopped, murdered Uncle Ben, it hit hard. From that moment on, Peter carried a lesson he'd never forget. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. That tragedy didn't just birth a superhero. It defined one. One of the most heartbreaking moments in Peter's life came when he lost Gwen Stacy. She was his first love, and Green Goblin knew it. He threw Gwen off a bridge, and Peter caught her with his web. But the whiplash snapped her neck. It wasn't the fall that killed her. It was the attempt to save her. That panel with the tiny snap sound effect still haunts fans. It marked a point where readers realized, in Peter's world, not even love is safe. And then there's the time Kraven the Hunter buried him alive.
Seriously?
In one of the darkest arcs ever, Kraven shoots Peter, puts on his suit, and patrols the city as a more violent, more brutal Spider-Man. Peter, meanwhile, is trapped underground, forced to dig his way back to life, physically and mentally. When he returns, Kraven simply steps aside and ends his own life. It wasn't about beating Spider-Man with fists. It was about breaking his spirit. Things only got stranger in the 90s when the infamous Clone Saga hit. Out of nowhere, a guy named Ben Reilly shows up, Peter's clone, with the same memories and powers. For a moment, even Peter doubts whether he is the original. The saga spiraled into chaos, sure, but it introduced fan-favorite characters and asked deep questions about identity and legacy. Who deserves to wear the mask? Then came the black suit. Peter picks it up during the Secret Wars, a sleek, living costume that enhances his powers and reacts to his thoughts. It's perfect. Until it isn't. The suit begins to change his personality. More rage, less reason. Eventually he realizes it's not just clothing. It's a parasitic alien trying to bond with him permanently. He tears it off in a church tower, but it doesn't go quietly. It finds a new host, Eddie Brock, and becomes Venom. One of Spidey's greatest threats was born from Peter's own mistakes. And just when you think things couldn't get more chaotic, we entered the Spider-Verse. A multiversal event where every version of Spider-Man, from Spider-Gwen to Noir to Japanese Spider-Man with a giant robot, teams up to fight the Inheritors, beings who literally hunt spider totems across dimensions. It's wacky, wild, and deeply emotional. Because through all the webs, all the alternate realities, they're all connected by the same core, great power, and even greater responsibility. In another shocking twist, Peter wasn't even Spider-Man for a while. Doc Ock was. In the Superior Spider-Man arc, Otto Octavius swaps bodies with Peter and lets him die. But instead of going full supervillain, Otto tries to outdo him. He builds tech, runs a company, becomes more efficient, more ruthless. He tries to be better, until he realizes being Spider-Man isn't about smarts. It's about heart. Eventually, Peter returns. But even Otto learns a thing or two about what it takes to wear the mask. Speaking of tough choices, there was a moment Peter made a deal with the devil. Literally, after Aunt May is shot, Peter turns to Mephisto, who offers to save her, in exchange for erasing his marriage to Mary Jane from existence. Not just breaking up, a cosmic-level wipe. One More Day remains one of the most controversial Marvel stories ever, because it stripped away years of emotional growth. But it also highlighted what makes Peter who he is, a guy who'll sacrifice everything, even love, to protect the ones he cares about. And hey, if you're into stories like these, there's plenty more coming your way. Stick around on Daily Marvel Dose for more bite-sized dives into Marvel's biggest moments. Hit that like, drop a follow, or subscribe if you want to stay tangled in the web.